For a long time, playing JRPGs on PC was painful. Bad ports, 30 FPS, crashes at the worst moments. But that changed. Today, JRPGs on PC are better than ever. Smooth, optimized, and sometimes even better than consoles. So here are 12 excellent JRPGs you can play right now on PC. Before we start, quick heads up. If you like saving money on games, check out Instant Gaming. You can find a lot of titles there way cheaper than usual, including some from this list. Links in the description. Definitely worth a look.
And will bring naught but misery.
Dragon Quest XI. Alright, starting with what I'd call the coziest JRPG ever made. Dragon Quest XI feels like comfort food. It starts out super classic. Chosen hero, big adventure, all that, and you might think you know exactly where it's going. You don't. The story gets way more emotional than it lets on. The cast is genuinely likable, and there are moments that hit harder than you'd expect. The Definitive Edition adds a ton of extra content, and on PC it runs great. If you've never played a JRPG before, this is honestly one of the best places to start.
Hey, folks!
Persona 5 Royal. Okay, if Dragon Quest is comfort food, Persona 5 Royal is a full 5-course meal with a dress code. The style in this game is just insane. Menus, music, animations, it all comes together in a way that very few games pull off. You go to school during the day, explore dungeons at night, and you're constantly managing your time between both. It sounds like a lot, and it kind of is, but it gets addictive really fast. Royal added a whole new semester of content on top of an already massive game. If you haven't played it, you're genuinely missing out.
Is it really you?
Are we on schedule?
Final Fantasy VII Remake. So the big question when this was announced was, can you actually remake one of the most iconic games ever without ruining it? Turns out, yeah, you can. Square Enix took just the Midgar section of the original and expanded it into a full 35-40 hour game. The combat went from classic turn-based to action with a strategic pause system, and it feels really good. Cloud, Tifa, Aerith, Barret, they all get way more screen time here, and you actually get to know them better. The PC version had a rocky launch, but it's in a much better place now. Worth it.
Speak of the old vulture's last grasp at power. The tournament for the...
Metaphor ReFantazio. This one is from the team behind Persona, but don't go in expecting Persona. It's something different. It's a medieval fantasy world, and the game uses that setting to talk about discrimination, politics, and what it actually means to lead people. Heavy stuff, but it never feels like a lecture. The visual style is immediately recognizable if you've played Persona. The soundtrack is wild, medieval choir mixed with modern vocal tracks, and the combat blends action and turn-based in a really smart way. Honestly, one of the best JRPGs I've played in years. Don't sleep on this one.
You're in this race to become king, are you?
The commander's put me in charge of your maintenance, ma'am.
NieR Automata. This game is hard to explain without spoiling it, so I'll keep it simple. You play as an android fighting machines on an abandoned Earth. Seems straightforward at first, and then it slowly starts pulling the rug out from under you. The story, the characters, even the way the game works as a game. It has multiple endings, but they're not just variations. Each one adds a new layer to the whole thing. When you get to ending E, you'll understand why people talk about it the way they do. The combat is fast and fun, and the soundtrack is genuinely one of the best ever made for a game. This one sticks with you long after you finish it.
I often think about the god who blessed us with this cryptic puzzle.
All I wanted to be was a hero. I saw my life's path ahead of me.
Yakuza Like a Dragon. Yakuza completely ditched its action-based combat, which used to define the franchise, and replaced it with a turn-based system inspired by Dragon Quest. A bold move. It works because the protagonist, Ichiban, is a huge Dragon Quest fan. He literally sees the world like an RPG, so everything makes sense within the story, and that gives the game a ton of personality. The story goes into some pretty emotional territory, loyalty, betrayal, second chances, but still keeps a sense of humor that balances everything out. It's such a fun game that you can easily spend hours just playing mini-games, exploring the map, and getting attached to all the characters. They're all charismatic in their own way. Definitely worth it.
Part of being friends.
You've got ambitions. I understand that. But my situation's changed, and I have to...
Eiyuden Chronicle 100 Heroes. If you ever played Suikoden 2 on the original PlayStation, this one was basically made for you. Eiyuden was created by the original Suikoden director as a spiritual follow-up to that series. Over 100 recruitable characters, a base you build up over time, large-scale battles, all the classic elements are there. The story starts small and grows into something much bigger, and some of the character arcs are surprisingly emotional. Even if you never played Suikoden, it's a solid JRPG with a lot of charm. But if you have, it's a must.
What cause have you to fight? My cause? It's to protect as many people as I can.
What?
Those with power set the example, and those without it are forced to obey.
Tales of Arise. This is the one I'd point to for anyone who wants to get into JRPGs but doesn't know where to start. The combat is the highlight. It's real-time action where each character plays completely differently, and the combo system between party members looks and feels great. The world is split into 6 very different regions, which keeps exploration interesting throughout, and the story, which starts as a pretty straightforward conflict between 2 opposing sides, gets more layered as you go. It's accessible, it's fun, and it doesn't overstay its welcome. A really solid entry point.
You won't be getting out of here alive.
Trails in the Sky Chapter 1. This one's personal for me, genuinely one of my favorites on the list. It's the first chapter of one of the longest running JRPG series out there, and the remake brought it back with a completely new look. What makes Trails special is the world building. NPCs have conversations that actually change as the story progresses. There's real history, real politics, real culture built into everything. It starts slow and calm and then just keeps getting darker and more complex the further you go. By the time it really opens up, you're already way too invested to stop. YES has always been known for fast, aggressive action combat, and this entry delivers that while adding something new. For the first time in the series, you're controlling 2 characters at once. Switching between them mid-fight and pulling off combined moves adds a whole new layer to the gameplay. The bosses are the highlight. They have real patterns to learn, and beating a tough one after a few attempts feels amazing. There's also a sailing mechanic for exploring archipelagos that gives the game a nice change of pace. And the soundtrack, as always with YES, is exceptional.
Let's show 'em, Adol!
Feared their power and banished them to another dimension. They have now returned as villains.
Romancing Saga 2: Revenge of the Seven. This is easily the most unusual game on the list, and that's exactly why it's worth mentioning. Instead of following one hero, you're leading an entire dynasty across generations. Emperors pass their legacy down, characters age and die, and the story continues with their successors. There are 7 major villains spread across the map, and you can go after them in pretty much any order. The combat has a mechanic called Glimmer, where characters can randomly learn new moves mid-battle. You never quite know when it's going to happen, which keeps fights interesting. It doesn't hold your hand at all. If you want something that feels genuinely different from a typical JRPG, this is it.
Which powerful allies will you make along your journey? Will you be up to the challenge of this epic battle that plays out?
So, everything according to plan then.
Star Ocean, the second story R. And to close out the list, one that kind of came out of nowhere in 2023 and ended up being a really pleasant surprise. The second story R is a remake of a PS1 classic. The setup is sci-fi meets fantasy. A Galactic Federation officer crash lands on a medieval planet. You choose to play as him or as the local healer who finds him. And depending on who you pick, parts of the story play out differently. Some characters can't be recruited at the same time. Some story routes are exclusive to one path. It's the kind of game that actually rewards a second playthrough. The combat was modernized into real-time action. The 2D sprites on 3D backgrounds look great, and Motoi Sakuraba's soundtrack was re-recorded with a full orchestra and sounds incredible. 40 to 50 hours, and it flies by.
Waiting for me?
Follow her, Claude.
We better survive this battle together, or else you know I'm gonna be pissed off at you. I want you to kill.
So that's a list. 12 JRPGs all available on PC right now. No excuses. Never played a JRPG? Start with Dragon Quest XI-S or Tales of Arise. Already into the genre and want something that really sticks? Go for Metaphor or Trails in the Sky. Now I want to hear from you. Which game on this list do you think doesn't belong? And which one did I leave out that should have made the cut? Drop it in the comments. I read all of them. If the video helped, a like goes a long way for the channel. And if you're not subscribed yet, now's a good time. More RPG content coming soon. See you in the next one. Thanks for watching.